Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. Today we're going to be checking out something that has quite piqued my interest. I'm curious if anybody else has heard of them because I don't think I've seen their name requested ever. And this description here has absolutely sold me. Weaving together progressive rock, post-grunge, I talk so much about post-grunge, Egyptian music, and metal. They have a new EP coming out in November called Metal Goes Egyptian, and it says that it's a musically enriching experience. Massive Scar Era is doomy and melodic metal suitable for fans of Nawather, Merfolk, and Aeternam. I don't think I've heard of Nawather. I haven't heard of Merfolk or Aeternam though. I'm ready for this though, especially because we're looking at Massive Scar Era with the traditional Egyptian Arabic orchestra with the song Back to the Sun. I'm a little... It's only 3 minutes and 44 seconds. I know I'm going to want more. But let's dive into this and see what Massive Scar Era is bringing to the table today.
Don't change a thing, or else you'd sound like them. Empty with no roots. Hold on until you'd find your way.
Yeah, a really nice 5/4 here with some interesting rhythmic ideas that I didn't think was going to be 5.
Change a thing, or else you'd sound like them. Empty with no roots. Hold on until you'd find your way.
Beautiful atmosphere. Love the layers. Yeah, shifting over into a 4/4 for this. A very full vocals on that harsh. What is... There's a percussion off to the right way in the back. What is that? Oh, there it is, right up front. I don't know how I missed that. We have a nice folk drum there. Very cool. I was right. I do want more. I think this is a really nice tease to the style here, and I don't know that I would always expect an orchestra with them. They might end up just being, a prog metal band. Um, but it's really nice having the orchestra here. I love the way that they added the layers and stuff. Um, but I do hope that they have the expanded folk instrumentation in more of their work because I like that. You don't hear that too often. An orchestra, strings particular, which is what we had majority of here. Strings and metal we hear all the time, but sorry, violins and metal we hear all the time. But the two folk instruments, the folk drum, and I don't know what that plucked string instrument is. If someone can clue me into that, I love the way that they sound alongside her clean vocals with the distorted guitar underneath it. It is beautiful. You got all that grit and power from the guitar, and then just this sparkling movement um, in the plucked instrument. It's just gorgeous, like little twinkling lights above, just like meaty, brutal sounds. I dig it. Now, about the song itself, we have a pretty clear ABA structure here. I like how we bookend the middle section with the acoustic intro and outro. I think it's a nice way of easing us into the song and easing us out of it to end it properly. The B section, while I do call it the B section, there's more to it. There is a verse chorus structure within here. So it's more like A, B, C, B, C, A, which is still pretty cool. It still has this nice bell curve kind of idea going on. Um, so I want to start with the A section real quick. I love this. The chord progression reminds me of so much grunge work. It's nice three chord idea that ends on a semi resolution, still alluding to tension that really allows it to go anywhere. The restart of the progression itself is a bit rough, but it's intended because we never really hit a full resolution home. Her vocals on top of it sound great. And I do love having some of the string instrumentation under it as well. I kind of hope that they can keep that even if they have to use virtual instruments in the the studio version of it that'll be released on the EP. Primarily because without it, I think the intro is going to be a bit sparse. That sparsity works really well as an outro to completely diminish all the energy from our mid section and allow it to dissipate in a way that allows the song to end. But it needs some of that extra layering in order to build up into our B section. And without it, if it's just the guitar and vocals for our A, and then we go in with the full band when we hit B, I think it's going to be a bit jarring where the violin layers help build into it. And there's other ways they could do it as well. Maybe there's more guitar parts. They can do the layers elsewhere. But I like the way the violins sound too, so I might just be a bit biased on that. It sounds great here. I don't want to always compare the studio version to this, but I might because this version's just so good. We get into the B and the C sections, and both of these are comprised of heavy drumming, 16th note bass kicks at one point, heavy guitar chords on a distorted guitar. We kind of kick that into overdrive. The violins come in with these very wide harmonies that sit underneath everything. We have the folk drum coming in with this nice booming warm tone, and then the plucked instrument off to the side, creating these little sparkles in the air. It is just a gorgeous sound altogether. Absolutely love it. Um, and I thought that her clean vocals worked really well against and technically with the violins on that. When she sings Back to the Sun, she sticks on one of the syllables for quite a while and just kind of puts some vocal flourish on it. And she does it with the violins, and I really love the way that her voice and the violins meld together into this other sound. They just kind of transform. They come together like Voltron. Um, and it's just gorgeous. And hearing this smooth melodic pattern with no words to it, we're still just kind of stuck on one syllable, while just this utter brutality of double bass kicks and heavy snare hits are coming through. I really like the levity and groundedness combined. We get this weightlessness from this melody line. It kind of pulls us up. We have the twinkling around it. I think without the drums here, it would feel like we're floating away. And the drums come in and they're like a chain to the ground. They keep us rooted. And so it allows for these soaring melody lines to exist in a grounded reality. It's not it's not hyper felt or hyper described. It just elevates the section. I think that's a great way to go about doing that. Um, but we also have the harsh vocals. We get them immediately on the B section. The C is the chorus. That's the Back to the Sun line with the little flourish to it. The growls were unexpected by me. I There's probably a little bit of bias, given the visuals, but um, I just wasn't expecting that voice. And the thing is it's very full. This sounds close to a growl to me, more so than a fry. It has depth to it, it has width to it. It doesn't sound like that narrow cut that fry vocals and even lower fry vocals tend to have. It's just a very powerful sound. And honestly, it didn't sound like there were any layers going on either, which I think is what impressed me more. Usually, when we get very wide vocals like this, I can usually hear that it's been double tracked, or, well, this might have been double tracked, but I can usually hear that there's a second layer to it. I didn't really get that here. So maybe that's just my ear being a bit weak today on the production. Uh, but maybe it literally is that she's just got this one powerful tone. I don't know. It was wild. Wasn't expecting it. Added a lot to the track. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to checking out this EP in November, and I may end up checking out some of their other works too. I think their latest album was 2018, if I saw correctly on Spotify. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of sold on this. I love the European metal sound mixed with the um, Middle East, Arabic, Egyptian kind of chordal ideas, well, melodic ideas more than chords. Um, and the folk instrumentation. I really hope the folk instrumentation sticks around through the studio versions. I think they add a lot of character to these tracks. Everything was just done so, and like I said, there's that grungy element in our A that, I mean, it reminds me of, Nirvana. It reminds me of early Smile Empty Soul. I mean, I love that sound. It's kind of like a rocky doom, isn't it? Without the metal aspects. That's kind of what post grunge is. Anyways, I'm going to see if I can find some lyrics for this. I probably should have emailed the PR person about it earlier this week, but I didn't. So, fingers crossed there's some lyrics out here. Well, I couldn't find some lyrics, but as I like to do, let's get educated about some instruments here. First of all, the string plucked instrument that we saw is the canoon. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's a few pronunciations actually, as this was a popular instrument across a few cultures. Um, but yeah, it looks so good. Beautiful craftsmanship. I love the angularity of it. And there's just so many strings. It traces its origins to the stringed Assyrian instrument of the Old Assyrian Empire, specifically from the 19th century BC Mesopotamia. Very cool. Oh, a type of zither. Yep, I gotta remember that family. I don't know why I always forget about the zither. That is a really good family name for instruments like this. Speaking of family names, there is also a lute type instrument in here called the oud that I saw and completely forgot to comment on I think it's really interesting how the head is tilted back towards the player. I think that's interesting, kind of boxes them in. But this was a beautiful instrument too, and I loved the way that it played alongside the distorted guitar at times, really creating this nice acoustic to metal contrast throughout some of the track. And on top of that, I did go to their website as I wanted to see if maybe they had the lyrics there, and it has a list of all the personnel. You probably can't see it. That's like super tiny over there. It has a list of all the personnel though: the violins, the violas, the oud, the canoon player, um, percussions. It doesn't say what percussion. I only saw the one. I wish I could have gotten the name of that specific drum, but the drummer, bass guitar behind the camera. Next time I listen, I gotta listen for a bass guitar. I was so overwhelmed with everything else, I didn't even think about it. But what's interesting is it looks like it's a series of pre-recorded video performances featuring the music of Massive Scar era, accompanied by a traditional Egyptian Arabic music orchestra, all filmed in a studio setting. Sounds like the whole EP is going to have this instrumentation, this exact group. So I am 100% down for that. This is immediately going on my listen list, and I'm looking forward to November 3rd when this comes out. All right, yeah, that's going to wrap this one up. I think those are my thoughts on Massive Scar era's Back to the Sun. I'm really looking forward to getting more into this. Like I said, I'm going to check out their 2018 album, because I dug what was going on here, even just on the rock metal side. All right, let me know in the comments your thoughts, your opinions, your perspectives. Did you enjoy this as much as I did? Put that stuff down there. Above the comment section is a description box. In there you'll find a link to Linktree. It takes you here. You can find my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That wraps it up for today. We do have a album. We do have an album review coming out tomorrow, same time as always, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.